news you can count on.
Good afternoon. I'm Melissa Raymond. Governor Tom Wolf is in Western PA right now to highlight the importance of having access to the COVID-19 vaccine. He's set to speak at Bethlehem Baptist Church in McKeesport in just a few minutes. Channel 11's Aaron Martin is at the event with the details for us.
We're here at Bethlehem Baptist Church in McKeesport, where Governor Tom Wolf will be speaking to the media in just a few minutes. But before he does that, he's going to be touring a local vaccine site. Of course, the governor is going to be touting how the state has done a much better job at getting vaccines into arms. The latest numbers show more than 35% of Pennsylvanians have at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, the next step, of course, is getting more people eligible. Just a few days ago, 1B is the phase that Pennsylvania moved into. 1C comes on Monday, and then after that, April 19th, everybody 16 and older becomes eligible for the vaccine here in Pennsylvania. Coming up at 5 o'clock, we're going to break down the governor's comments. We'll also be hearing from Allegheny County Health Director Deborah Bogan and County Executive Rich Fitzgerald. We'll have all of that for you tonight, starting at 5 o'clock. Reporting in McKeesport, Aaron Martin, Channel 11 News.
We'll also check back in around 12:30. Let's get a check on your weather now. Meteorologist Danielle Dozier joins us. And Danielle, it feels like summer out there. I'm so exciting, and I think you I heard you say, "Holy cow, it's 76 already."
Yeah, I literally just got done looking at the temperatures and said, "Holy cow, it's already 76 degrees in Pittsburgh right now." Look outside. We've got that fantastic sunshine, and yes, it is 76 here in the Steel City. 76 already in Beaver and 74 degrees in Washington. Temperatures are running 6 degrees warmer in Pittsburgh than this time yesterday, 7 degrees warmer up in Butler. We do have the warmth. We have a little bit of instability in the atmosphere today that's bringing us a few showers, mainly north and east of the city of Pittsburgh right now through Clarion County and northern Indiana County up there near Punxsutawney. Today's high temperature climbs to about 80 degrees with a light and variable wind, a mix of sun and clouds, and a chance for one of those spotty showers or an isolated thunderstorm. Coming up, I'm going to be tracking your look at your Pirates forecast as they take on the Cubs tomorrow. We'll take a look at that together coming up.
It's an important one. 7 people, including 6 children, were displaced, and a firefighter was hurt this morning during a house fire. This happened in Derry Township, Westmoreland County. This was the scene early this morning on North Chestnut Street. It's unclear how many people were living in the house or what caused the fire. We spoke with a neighbor who told us she woke up to a loud boom.
It was unbelievable to wake up to this loud noise and see this huge fire. It's just scary, that's all. I hope the family's all right.
Our photographer who was at that scene told us the house was gutted. Firefighters and medics were called to a fire on Vensel Way in Marshall-Shadeland around 2:30 this morning. This is a 3-story apartment building. You could see in this video flames, look at that right here, shooting out of that 2nd-story window, and the siding on almost the entire back of the house is just charred and melted. Public information officers told us everyone got out safely, but a firefighter did injure an ankle. The fire is under investigation. Then just a half-mile from the scene of that fire, police say they found a body in the backyard of a home. The man was found behind a house on McDowell Street around 12:30 this morning. He has not been identified, and it's still unclear if his death is being considered suspicious. We've learned the name of the man who died after a fall at a West Mifflin job site yesterday. Melvin Long was rushed to the hospital after falling more than 40 feet from a catwalk at Lafarge, North America. It's located just off of Buttermilk Hollow Road. OSHA is investigating. The company's website says they work on infrastructure projects around the country. Also new at noon, the U.S. is approaching a major milestone when it comes to COVID-19 vaccines. The White House says by the end of the weekend, nearly half of all adults will have their first shot. The CDC says nearly 42% of the population over 18 has received at least one dose of the vaccine. Another update, the CDC also projects there will be about 20,000 fewer coronavirus deaths by May 1st. That would be a slight slowing of the death rate over the next 3.5 weeks. It's called long COVID, and it's felt by people who survived COVID-19, only to be left battling new symptoms and issues months later. Channel 11's Jacqueline Feld is digging into new research that's putting the spotlight on some of those long-term impacts on survivors.
Scientists say that this new study suggests the coronavirus pandemic could lead to a wave of mental and neurological problems. 1 in 3 COVID-19 survivors in this study were diagnosed with a brain or psychiatric disorder within 6 months of contracting the virus. Researchers say the greatest risk was to patients with severe COVID cases. The study, published in the journal Lancet Psychiatry, looked at the health records of more than 230,000 patients. It's the largest study to date. Researchers say it's not clear how the virus is linked to anxiety and depression, but those were the most common mental health diagnoses. Post-COVID cases of stroke, dementia, and other neurological disorders were rare, but still significant. Independent experts said the findings were worrying. They warn healthcare systems could be dealing with patients affected by this long after the pandemic. In Washington, Jacqueline Fell, Channel 11 News.
12:05, and as of today, more than 2 million Pennsylvanians are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. With more people getting the vaccine, testing for the virus is way down, and that's making it harder to track the virus, especially the new variants. The state health department says daily testing is down 55% from its highest point in December. Acting Secretary of Health Allison Beam says the lower the testing numbers, the harder it is to detect and stop a potential fourth wave. She wants to double down on efforts to increase testing, just like they did with the vaccine process. And as more kids head back to the classroom, Beam says testing in schools will be their next priority. A new proposal in Harrisburg looks to add protection from COVID-19 liability. The State House narrowly passed the bill that sets up an arbitration program for personal injury lawsuits from COVID exposure. It applies to defendants who've complied with all public health directives. The sponsor of the bill says it would cut down on the number of, quote, frivolous lawsuits. The bill must still pass the Senate and be signed by the governor. Governor Wolf vetoed a similar bill last winter. A South Hills pharmacy is opening up its vaccine clinic to everyone 16 and older today. Spartan Pharmacy has 2,000 Pfizer vaccines to give out, so they're having the clinic at Broughton Fire Hall in South Park, just off Route 88. You can book an appointment right on their website. And new at noon, Walgreens is adjusting the timing between doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. The drugstore chain has been giving the second dose a week after federal guidelines suggested. Walgreens says it will change that to meet the CDC recommendation of 3 weeks between the shots. Walgreens patients can have their second doses automatically scheduled when they make an appointment for their first shot. President Biden switching gears today from COVID back to his jobs plan, pushing lawmakers to get it done. But what comes out of Congress could look very different than what he's pitching. NBC's Tracy Potts joins us with the latest.
Low-income, uninsured.
President Biden switching focus today back to his jobs bill, infrastructure, defending a 28% tax on corporations to pay for it.
Here you have 51 or 52 corporations. The Fortune 500 haven't paid a single penny in tax for 3 years. Come on, man.
If we can figure a way to do a paid-for, arguably more modest approach, I'd be open to it, but not what I think they're peddling.
The Democrat in the middle, Senator Joe Manchin, predicts what comes out of Congress will likely look a lot different than the president's plan. 3 bills, not one, with a lower interest rate and no Democrat-only votes.
So we're going to have some leverage here, and it's more than just me, Hoppy. There's 6 or 7 other Democrats that feel very strongly about this.
Some argue child care belongs in this plan.
If women don't have child care, parents don't have child care, they can't go to work, just as much as a worker who can't go to work if they don't have a road.
Child care, roads, internet, housing, and politicians deciding what's infrastructure and what's not. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
New details. The Treasury Department says it has issued 156 million payments as part of the president's COVID relief plan. The direct payments were as much as $1,400 per person. The payments were a large part of the $1.9 trillion package to stamp out the virus and revive the American economy. Since March 12th, the government has paid out $372 billion. That includes about 25 million payments recently sent out to Social Security beneficiaries who haven't filed 2019 or 2020 tax returns. There's a new plan to crack down on repeat DUI offenders. They'd have to wear an alcohol monitoring device. This would be used as a way for them to avoid prison time. The State House passed the bill yesterday. Anyone with one or more prior DUI offenses could get one of these if a judge says that they meet the criteria. Several Pennsylvania counties have similar laws. This one would be statewide. The ACLU opposes this bill. The trial of Derek Chauvin, the former police officer charged in the death of George Floyd, continues today. NBC's Jay Gray has the latest from Minneapolis.
Hey there. Look, as the trial moves forward, I think you've got to look for more policing experts on the stand, really getting into the police policy when it comes to use of force and training techniques. That's something that they've been focused on over the last couple of days. Also, I think as we move into this day, you'll see a bit of a shift. They'll start to talk more about the medical aspects of this trial. Of course, drug use by George Floyd has been something that the defense has pushed on as being one of the causes for his death. And I think you might see the prosecution try to get out ahead of that a little bit by calling some of their expert witnesses. Again, this is the part of the trial that's been technical. We started with all of the emotion. Now we get to the technical side of this. Look for the prosecution to wrap things up at some point by getting back to that emotion, back to that viral cell phone video of the incident. That's the latest right now. Here in Minneapolis, I'm Jay Gray. Back to you.
New at noon, Pittsburgh police got several calls about a black bear this morning. A viewer shared this video with us. Check this out. It's kind of hard to see here, but look, the bear once he was on Groveland Street in Overbrook and on Wyoming Street near Shiloh Street and again on Sweetbriar in Lipton on Mount Washington. The Pennsylvania Game Commission has been notified. If you see a bear, police say just leave it alone, don't feed it, and call 911. We're going to be monitoring the search for this bear throughout the day, so check in with us.
Are you enjoying this stretch of very warm, nice weather? It's in the mid-70s right now. Coming up, I'll let you know how long the unseasonable temperatures will last.
Plus, how federal agents say 3 men from out of state tried to pull off an elaborate scheme to steal credit card numbers from people in our area.
The stopwatch, which with lines on the ground.
Those are a few of the ways police catch speeders, but that could be changing. The push to give them a more high-tech way to keep drivers honest. Welcome back. Pennsylvania is the only state in the country that does not allow local police to use radar guns to catch speeders. But a bill recently approved by a House committee would change that. House Bill 606 would allow local, city, and municipal police to use radar guns for speed enforcement. A detective sergeant with Ross Township supports the bill. In the meantime, his department is using other devices to catch speeders.
The stopwatch, which with lines on the ground, or there's VASCAR systems which can even be used in the car, and those can be employed even while the car is in motion. So we are able to do speed enforcement, obviously.
The bill now goes to the House Appropriations Committee for consideration. Officials say fear over possible new gun control laws is leading to record-setting sales in Pennsylvania. For the third quarter in a row, state police reported a record in background checks. Those obviously are required before most gun sales. Now here's a look at the numbers over the last 9 months. In the first quarter of this year, 427,000 background checks were completed through Instant Check. That's up 40% from this time last year. Background checks don't mean that's how many guns were sold, but experts say it's a pretty good measure for testing the market. Right now, Democrats are pushing for bills in Congress looking to extend background checks. That also gives the FBI some more time to review flagged cases. Now, the 3 men you see on your screen right now are charged in an elaborate credit card theft scheme. Moon Township police say they used high-tech equipment to steal credit card numbers and then loaded the information onto other cards. Channel 11's Liz Kilmer found out the U.S. Secret Service is now investigating.
Definitely very concerning.
These 3 men from Massachusetts are facing charges here locally for what court documents portray as an elaborate identity theft ploy, now involving federal agents with the United States Secret Service. According to court documents we obtained, Christopher Richardson, Brian Villenegra, and Mark Lusant were arrested in March in Moon Township after allegedly buying food from this Exonat with stolen credit card information. The victim, out of Florida, got an alert and contacted the diner, and staff there called Moon Police. Investigators say the men were found with multiple re-encoded cards with accounts not matching the numbers displayed on them. Court documents say that detectives determined the 3 men were actually staying right next door to the diner here at this Hampton Inn. Police got search warrants for their 3 rooms and a rental car. Police apparently seized more than 100 Target gift cards, along with Fuse cards, which can hold data for multiple accounts, plus multiple cell phones, tablets, and accessories for credit card reading and writing, including a Bluetooth device that can connect to an online payment network, which, quote, allows a fraudster to conduct transactions and re-encoding anywhere, moving from retailer to retailer. This week, federal investigators filed a search warrant to examine all of their electronics. The investigation far from over, and people around here pleased the suspects were caught.
Yeah, definitely.
Records show all 3 men have criminal histories ranging from credit card fraud to theft. Liz Kilmer, Channel 11 News.
Right now, 12:17, Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro says students who borrowed money to attend a now defunct Career Institute will not have to pay back the loan. Brightwood Career Institute had 5 locations in Pennsylvania, including Pittsburgh. Shapiro says his office entered an agreement that will result in the cancellation of $2.6 million in private student loans held by 1,300 students who attended the schools. An official report on the crash that severely injured Tyre Woods is expected to be released today. It's unclear how much new information will be in it, but last week the Los Angeles County Sheriff said officials know why Woods' SUV drove off the road and rolled over in February, but he said those details will not be disclosed. Woods had surgery after the accident and has been recovering ever since.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
It's a gorgeous afternoon right now. We've got plenty of sunshine, 76 warm degrees and a north-northwest wind at 8 miles per hour. Soak up the sunshine, grab your sunglasses before you head out. Little cooler, of course, relatively speaking. Out in Greensburg at 72, Indiana the same, but Butler, Beaver at 74, Washington at 74, and yes, we are the warm spot here in the city. Here's a look at our forecast for the rest of the day, approaching 80 degrees in just the next few hours. If you're out doing a little gardening, make sure you have your sunscreen on, but just an absolutely fantastic day to get outside and well above average temperatures this afternoon. Average high temperature is in the upper 50s for this time of year. Here's a look at our our Storm Tracker Doppler 11 radar. A few spots of green showing up. That's the light shower that we're detecting there. Northern Indiana County, southern Clarion County, and these have been weakening in intensity, but they're forming up along a front that we have that is hanging out just to the north of the city. And this is the same front we have been talking about over the last couple of days that would provide us at least a low-end chance of seeing a spotty rain shower here in the city and across the rest of the area. The more favorable region, though, will be along that front for today, which is where we're seeing those pop right now, and also across central and north central Pennsylvania itself, getting in on a chance for a shower or a thunderstorm. You can see that here on our model day, little green speckles drifting across northern Armstrong County and Indiana counties here as we head into the late afternoon. I don't want to entirely rule out a pop-up shower for the rest of the area, but I mentioned where the favorable zones would be. Overnight tonight, it's going to be quiet. We're going to be partly cloudy, and it'll be dry for your Thursday morning commute. That's a look at 7:30 in the morning. And we're starting the day out mild as well, with temperatures in the 50s. Tonight's low in Pittsburgh is 55 degrees under a partly cloudy sky with light southeasterly winds expected. Again, average high 59. So you think about the fact that we're already going to be in the 50s to start the day. It's going to be another warm afternoon. 52 in Washington, about 56 in Uniontown, 56 in Beaver. Tomorrow, here's your hour-by-hour biking forecast. Carry the water with you. It's going to be another unseasonably warm day with temperatures pushing into the upper 70s. You might be wondering, why is it so warm across the area? When we look at the upper levels of the atmosphere, we have what we call this ridge of high pressure that's building across the region. So that's allowing the warmth to increase across our area. You can see the 5-day forecast with your weekend always in view, and we do have a chance for some showers coming in here Thursday night and coming up in the next half hour. I'm going to show you our hourly forecast for the Pirates game tomorrow. Also, the storm tracker maps to let you know the exact timing of the rain on Thursday. In the meantime, Friday, it's 72 with a chance for a pop-up shower or rumble of thunder, and your weekend is always in view. Look at this. We've got warm weather continuing into Saturday and Sunday, despite the chance for showers, which I do think will be widespread for the back half of the weekend. We're still in the mid-60s, so that's still above average, even though we have been just dealing with this unbelievable stretch of warm weather. I still think the temperatures aren't too bad on Sunday. Alyssa?
I love it. Thanks, Danielle. Now, new at noon, a Buddhist monk who was trapped by floodwaters inside a cave for 4 days has been rescued by divers. Authorities in Thailand say the 46-year-old monk entered the cave Saturday to meditate. While inside there, it started to rain and then high water blocked the entrance. This morning, 7 divers went into this cave after the rain stopped, found the man, and led him back to dry land. The race to vaccinate is speeding up, where vaccine testing stands with younger children. Right place, right time. The feat of daring that saved a man's life. Check this out. This is new video from Philadelphia of a house exploding. And there was a man inside when all of this happened. Luckily for him, a good Samaritan was walking by, heard him screaming, and rushed in to help.
When I went upstairs, he was on fire, so I pulled him out with the extinguisher, and I picked him up, put him on my shoulder, and I came downstairs.
Jeez, this explosion also set off a fire that took 60 firefighters more than an hour to put out. The man in the house was taken to the hospital. Just amazing. Police arrested a Westmoreland County man after they said he tried to cash a bogus lottery ticket. They say Craig Stout used scissors and a glue stick to change a ticket and then tried to cash it for $500 at a 7-Eleven in Hempfield. And store employees say he actually pulled it off a couple times. Police say he allegedly got away with almost $1,300 from 3 fake tickets over the weekend. Stout told investigators he was out of work and needed cash. Health and wealth. The companies paying their employees to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Lawrenceville is one of the hottest neighborhoods to live in. That is, if you can afford it. How one group wants to make it easier for everyone to call it home. Just about 12:30 on this Wednesday afternoon, and we're taking a live look at Governor Tom Wolf. He's speaking right now in McKeesport, highlighting the importance of giving more people access to the COVID-19 vaccine. Let's take a few seconds to listen to what he has to say.
A third of Pennsylvanians, as I mentioned, 35% have received at least one dose of the COVID-19, and we still have work to do. Throughout the vaccine rollout, again, equity has been one of the key issues. That's an issue here in Pennsylvania. It's certainly an issue with the administration in Washington. And that means not only identifying which populations are at the greatest risk from COVID-19, but working affirmatively to make sure that we get vaccines to the arms of folks who are not only at risk, but might be more hesitant than others to get the vaccine. We got to break down barriers that make it harder for people to get the vaccine. So among other efforts, we've worked with vaccine providers to make it easier for Pennsylvanians without internet access to make vaccine appointments by phone if they don't have access to the internet. We've worked with the state's network of area agencies on aging to help older adults find and make vaccine appointments. And we've worked with transportation companies to make it easier for Pennsylvanians who don't have reliable transportation to make it to vaccine clinics. The progress we have made is due to the flexible...
Channel 11's Aaron Martin is at this press conference, and we'll have a full recap of what Governor Wolf has to say beginning at 5 o'clock here on Channel 11. Time right now is 12:30 on this Wednesday afternoon. Let's talk weather now. Severe Weather Team 11 meteorologist Danielle Dozier rejoins us now, and I can't help but smile. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've been waiting for this personally, but you need the sunglasses and maybe a lot of sunscreen today, Danielle.
That is for certain, Alyssa. We're taking a look here at our visible satellite, just showing a few cumulus clouds that are developing across the region right now. Just an unseasonably warm day. Out of some of these clouds, we could get a few stray showers or a thunder shower late day, and we're already seeing a little bit of that activity up to the north and the east. I showed you the radar a few moments ago. It's just a warm afternoon. We're already at 76 degrees here in the city, 74 in Washington. We're on our way up close to 80 this afternoon. In fact, I do expect us to get to very close here in the city of reaching 80, if not going a touch above. And by evening, we're still in the 70s with 76 at 7 p.m. So if you need to mow the lawn, carry that water with you, or at least take frequent breaks, because we are looking at a warm afternoon and evening continuing. Coming up, we do have some rain chances in the forecast for the day on Thursday, but I'm going to pinpoint which hours I think we're going to see that wet weather, because I know the Pirates are taking on the Cubs at home opener, so we'll have that forecast for you coming up.
A lot of eyes are going to be on that one, Danielle. The Port Authority plans to spend $550,000 on bonuses for employees who get the COVID-19 vaccine. Public transportation workers are now eligible under Phase 1B of the state's vaccine rollout. The virus has hit the Port Authority especially hard. Since the start of the pandemic, 433 employees have tested positive and 4 have died. Channel 11's Michelle Newell learned it's not just the Port Authority that's offering incentives to vaccinated workers.
Our drivers are obviously serving a lot of people. They come into contact with people on a daily basis. It's very important for them to be protected against the virus.
And that's part of the reason why Port Authority is giving all employees a big incentive.
So Port Authority is giving a $200 bonus to all employees
to get the vaccine.
It's going to be about $500,000 to $550,000 total.
And that's not all.
Up to 2 days of paid time off for employees who experience any symptoms as a result of the vaccine.
Public transit workers in Pennsylvania just became eligible to receive the vaccine.
They're in the public all day, every day. They should have been one of the first people. Everybody should have some kind of incentive for getting paid.
Amtrak is spending $3 million in cash bonuses to encourage its employees to get the vaccine. Employees who work for Allegheny County can receive $100 if they get the shot.
And here at Target, team members can get up to 4 hours of pay if they get the vaccine. They can also get free Lyft rides to and from their vaccine appointments. Starbucks will give its employees up to 2 hours of paid time off for each dose of the vaccine.
Even though these companies aren't requiring employees to get the vaccine, they are all offering incentives to employees who do. But they have to provide documentation that proves it. Back at Port Authority, the process has just begun.
Nobody's gotten it so far, but I'm sure they will be. I know I'm going to turn in my card and get my 200, so I'm certainly excited.
I'm Michelle Newell for Channel 11 News.
Pitt is sending out another alert about COVID on campus and how it's endangering students as well as surrounding communities. Coronavirus cases continue to rise on the Oakland campus. Since Friday, 46 more students tested positive and 94 students are in isolation. Officials say the spread is different than what was happening in the fall. They now have several pockets of students in different residence halls.
It seems to be different than what it was like in the fall with the rising cases, especially because there's pandemic fatigue and people ultimately seem to care a little bit less, especially with the weather getting nicer.
The case counts don't appear to be stopping from students from going to their favorite bars and restaurants. I mean, several businesses tell us they've been much busier and even had sales records in March. Both Pfizer and Moderna are testing the safety and efficacy of their vaccines on young kids. It's an important step, health experts say, in beating the pandemic. NBC's Sarah Dolph reports.
Okay. 2, 3. Nearly 2 weeks after rolling up their sleeves, all done. 9-year-old twins Alejandra and Maricel Gerardo, the first participants in Pfizer's U.S. trial for kids under 12, are doing well.
They're feeling wonderful. They've not changed their activities at all.
Their parents, both doctors, enrolled them after studying the vaccine's safety profile in adults and discussing it as a family.
Other than asking a couple of questions like, will it hurt or what else will I have to do and things like that, they never really had concerns.
Duke Health is one of 4 medical centers conducting Pfizer's phase 1 trial on kids ages 5 to 11. Soon it will start including those as young as 6 months, a critical step, say health experts, in reaching herd immunity.
Children make up almost a quarter of our population here in this country. If you don't vaccinate 25%, if you automatically discount 25% or near 25% of the population, then it really will become more difficult to achieve protection.
Last week, Pfizer announced its trial of teens 12 to 15 showed the vaccine was 100% safe and effective.
It really is encouraging to know that, that it worked in this age group.
Moderna is also testing its vaccine on young children. Johnson & Johnson plans to eventually do the same.
These are awesome.
Meanwhile, Alejandra and Maricel are scheduled to receive their second doses later this month.
I hope this empowers them to understand that you as an individual can make a difference just beyond yourself and your family.
And hoping it inspires other families to get their kids vaccinated when the time comes. Sarah Dolph, NBC News.
Time right now, 12:36. A bill to rename a section of a road in Westmoreland County in honor of late State Representative Mike Reese is moving forward. According to the Trib, the State House Transportation Committee approved a bill to name a 3.5-mile stretch of Route 981 after Reese. The bill now goes up for a vote before the full House. Reese passed away in January of a brain aneurysm. He was elected to a 7th term in office back in November. Nearly $1 billion is available for anyone struggling to pay their rent right now. The state is urging Pennsylvanians to apply for help through the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. It launched a few weeks ago. According to a recent report, roughly 3/4 of Black and Latinos who were asked reported falling behind on their rent or mortgage since last March. 1/3 of African Americans reported being formally or informally evicted since the pandemic began. Grocery shopping, how the pandemic has changed how we do it and what we buy. And LG is getting out of the cell phone business. What this means if you still use one of their phones. 12:40 on this Wednesday afternoon, the Pittsburgh Planning Commission is moving forward with a program to stop gentrification in Lawrenceville. They propose changing a zoning law. The change would force developers to set aside 10% of their units for people with lower incomes. Civic groups, they want to see 15%. If approved by City Council, it would be the first program in Pittsburgh to use zoning to combat rising property values. And remember this, remember that new style store that Dick's Sporting Goods was working on? The first one is opening this week, actually. They call it the House of Sport. If you're not familiar, take a look here. It's kind of what they look like. Dick says that this type of store is more about experiences. So there's a climbing wall, an outdoor turf field, putting greens, and a batting cage. The first new concept store will open in Rochester, New York on Friday. No word yet, though, on when a similar store might open up here. Do you hear that? Yeah? How the sounds of nature could actually make you healthier. U.S. automakers could make 1 million fewer vehicles this year. One trade group blames it on a shortage of semiconductor chips. Last month, we told you General Motors was having a hard time finding the chips. The chips help manage fuel in some of its trucks. The shortage has forced a number of automakers to stop production or move it out of the country. The pandemic caused the problem. When car factories shut down early last year, many consumer electronic companies started buying up the chips. A new survey shows the coronavirus pandemic is affecting the hiring process. According to People Scout, managers say they're looking for different qualities in potential new hires. The most important quality, a job candidate's ability to work independently. They're also looking for someone who can handle stress and is flexible. The highly competitive smartphone market is losing a pretty major player. LG announced it will soon leave the smartphone business after nearly 2 decades. The South Korean tech giant says its mobile phone division is expected to wind down by July. LG was once one of the top 3 global smartphone makers, but in the end, experts say it just couldn't compete with Samsung and Apple. The company says it will now focus on electric vehicle components, smart homes, and artificial intelligence. LG plans to provide software updates and service for its existing phones for a little while longer. It will also continue with its warranty. Okay, the sounds of nature could be good for your health. A research group at Carleton University is analyzing how nature sounds actually affect the body. I feel like we should just keep listening to this, right? I mean, if it benefits us. So here's what they found. Sounds of rushing water are most effective at improving emotions, while bird sounds combat stress.
Close your eyes and listen to what's around you. Listen to the birds singing and, the wind rustling the leaves in the trees.
It's a good weather day to do that. They recorded hundreds of sounds from more than 60 national parks. They're working with the Parks Department to preserve natural sounds from things like cars and airplanes. As spring allergies get into full swing, doctors have some important reminders about taking antihistamines. They say they're good for treating hay fever or hives, but they do not work for asthma or coughs. Also, stick with newer versions like Claritin or Zyrtec. They're more effective, last longer, and have fewer side effects. Danielle, are you sneezing yet?
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
I am not sneezing. My nose is running a little bit, and I know a lot of you have been writing me saying the allergies are getting me, and this is why. We have tree pollen that is high out there today. Mold is in the low category, but tree pollen is elm, juniper, and maple. So if you are familiar with those, then yes, we are dealing with that, and we're going to continue, I think, for the next few days. You can see all those trees blooming out there. Safe Place Selfie Day, yeah, that's still taking place today, by the way. I encourage you to send me your pictures, no matter where you're at, because some of these hazards that we see across our area, whether it's flash flooding, lightning, tornadoes, even a little bit of hail sometimes out of thunderstorms. Those can happen anywhere, whether you're at home or you're on the road or at work. So identify that safe place in your work or your home and take a selfie and send it to us. Send it to me on Twitter or Facebook using the hashtag SafePlaceSelfie. All the meteorologists across the country taking place in this today. So hopefully you can send me your pictures. 76 out there right now. Beautiful weather. We've got some cumulus clouds that are building. We've got a northwesterly wind at 8 miles per hour. Dry in Pittsburgh. We've had a few showers that have been popping up to the north and the east, drifting across Clarion, Armstrong, and Indiana counties up there, weakening in intensity, really just a sprinkle left over. That'll be the best chance area of seeing a shower today or even an isolated thunderstorm, and especially as you travel east into eastern central, I should say, Pennsylvania, north central Pennsylvania. The rest of us fairly quiet for the afternoon, just a very warm day with a high temperature closing in on 80 degrees. Tonight it's 55, partly cloudy, light southeasterly wind, so it's going to be a mild night tonight and morning tomorrow. So if you're heading out the door, you may just need a light jacket. The afternoon, though, is going to favor another above average day for us. Here's a look at the model data showing us just a few of those showers occurring through the afternoon. Very spotty, though, in nature for us. Cumulus clouds, sunshine today, just another very warm day. Take advantage of it. If you can see here on Thursday morning, we're dry out there. Dry through much of the day as well. I want to stop the clock, though, during the game tomorrow. Looks like we're quiet here in the city, and I think that's going to be the case the majority of the day. We have a low pressure system that's going to be approaching from the west. That's going to bring our better shot of rain to the area as we head into Thursday night into early Friday morning, where we could have a few rumbles of thunder and a few spotty showers left over for Friday morning itself. So the Cubs taking on the Pirates, 135. Temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 70s, just a partly sunny sky for us. And make sure you have that sunscreen and your sunglasses. You're going to need it. 79 in Washington, about 78 here in the city. Double sevens in Uniontown, 79 degrees out in Morgantown. The warm weather will actually continue into the end of the week and into the weekend, especially the first part of your weekend. You can see here low to mid 70s through Saturday. We cool off a little bit for Sunday. And out of the weekend, I don't think either day is a washout, but Sunday does favor more widespread showers across the area. That'll be the cooler of the two, with temps dipping into the 60s.
The pandemic has shaken up how we grocery shop and what we buy, and new research shows some of these changes may stick around after COVID. Americans are spending more money at supermarkets than at places like restaurants. A new survey found Instacart, who did the survey, Instacart, they found more older Americans are also online shopping or doing curbside pickup for their weekly grocery store runs. That same survey found Sunday shopping may be loosening its grip on the weekend. There was an 8% increase in shoppers headed to the checkout line during the week.
There is more spending on convenience foods, such as frozen foods, which are up by 29% versus pre-pandemic.
Alcohol sales, those have skyrocketed during the pandemic. So did fruits, vegetables, and supplements.
Hey guys, I think we've all been reading about how important it is to self-care. That means really taking care of yourself from home because maybe you're busy or you're not able to get to a professional salon right now or whatever it happens to be. But taking care of yourself, doing the things that make you feel good, right? One of those, as every woman can attest, is a pedicure. Preach it. Oh my gosh, a pedicure makes all the difference in the world. But if you can't get to a salon, what do? Let me tell you what I do. I try it by myself, and then I can't reach my toes because I'm as flexible as a brick, and I can't see because I'm blind as a bat. And then I get red nail polish on the floor, and oh my gosh, it is a mess. So luckily, someone has solved that. This is called Salon Step, and I think it's absolutely brilliant, and everyone should have one. And I know my sisters would love it, and I have to send one to my niece in college. But it folds up flat for storage, number one. Number two, great height, perfect height, adjustable angles. This is where you put your foot. Love that. Here's 3 different places for polish, more room to store, a great little shelf here, a drawer here, right? And a magnifying glass. So now your foot is at the right height, the right angle, and you can see. I know. Oh my gosh. It's brilliant, right? I can't believe I didn't think of this. So magnifying glass, good to go. Now you can see what you're doing. It's at the right angle. Your toes look amazing. And when you're done, wait for it, the piece de resistance. It has a little fan. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? So it helps dry your toes. Now, you may think that having a pedicure is a small thing, but as a woman, you know that it's not. It really just makes you feel like you look good and you look your best. Right now on localsteals.com, we have a very special offer on Salon Step. I know you're going to love it. I know that your feet are going to thank you, and I can't wait for you to try it.
Hope you're having a great day. If you're not, listen to this. Eaton Park is helping Pirates fans celebrate the start of a new season. Tomorrow for the home opener against the Cubs, dine-in guests wearing Pirates gear will get a free black and gold smiley cookie with their meal. The offer is available at all Pittsburgh area Eaton Park restaurants. As for the game, capacity at PNC Park is set for 50%. Fans who don't wear masks will be denied entry and even kicked out. The only exception is when you're actively eating or drinking in your seat. Masks have to cover your mouth and your nose. The team is also going fully digital. They will only accept digital tickets. Fans are asked to have the app open and their tickets ready right at the gate. It's going to be exciting and we'll be there. That's all for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast is tonight at 5. I'm Melissa Raymond. Have an incredible day.